A very good morning. You're watching the breakfast news on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Let's begin with this morning's headlines. Swiss major Nestle faces a barrage of actions over Maggi noodles. Centre files complaint at the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. Army and leading retail chains take product off their shelves. President Pranab Mukherjee to wrap up his 5-day two-nation tour today. India to extend $100 million line of credit for joint ventures to Belarus. At least 33 people, including 10 children, killed in government barrel bomb attacks in Aleppo in northern Syria. Death toll in the China boat tragedy now stands at 26. Inclement weather making rescue efforts difficult. And Andy Murray and Novak Djokovic to clash in the French Open semi-finals. Djokovic stuns Nadal while Murray beats David Ferrer. Well, Swiss major Nestle is under fire. Not only has the centre cracked the whip over the controversy surrounding its popular brand Maggi, several states are also carrying out independent tests of the product to decide on what action they can take. The army and several government outlets have already taken Maggi off their shelves. Here's more.
After the centre took a note of alleged lapses related to food safety standards in Maggi noodles, the states are also coming down heavily on Nestle. While Jharkhand and Gujarat governments will take a call on the sale of instant noodles after getting sample reports today, the Assam and West Bengal governments have also sent random samples for testing in government labs. Terming the entire controversy as a serious issue, the government has filed a complaint with the National Consumer Disputes and Redressal Commission. The commission will now investigate the matter before taking appropriate action.
पहले हम लोगों ने FSSAI से कहा, बाद में क्या कहते हैं कि हमको लगा कि यदि रिपोर्ट आने में सब जगह से देरी लगेगी, नेशनल कमीशन को स्वयं क्या कहते हैं कि हस्तक्षेप करेंगे, इसकी जांच करनी चाहिए.
Central Food Safety Regulator FSSAI has taken samples of Maggi noodles from all states for testing. The FSSAI Act provides for a fine of up to 5 lakh rupees and imprisonment of up to 6 years in case of grievous injury to the consumer, while the imprisonment could be of minimum 7 years and a fine not less than rupees 10 lakh in case of death.
The FSSAI is going to take a complete picture after getting the reports from all the states. That is what we are waiting for, and we have asked them to send the reports as soon as possible.
Earlier, on Wednesday, the Indian Army and Central Police issued advisories asking its personnel not to consume Maggi noodles and directed their canteens to set aside existing stock of the popular snack until further orders. The Delhi government banned Maggi from government outlets for 15 days. A fresh decision will be taken after rechecking new samples.
13 में से 10 सैंपल्स के अंदर लेड की क्वांटिटी बहुत ज़्यादा पाई गई है और सरकार आज मीटिंग बुला रही है, उसके ऊपर एक्शन लिया जाएगा. देखिए, ये प्रोसीजर होता है, अगर कोई भी सैंपल फेल होता है तो उसका जो भी कानूनी प्रक्रिया है उस पूरी प्रक्रिया का पालन करते हुए कोर्ट में केस किया जाएगा.
Meanwhile, actor Amitabh Bachchan has said he will cooperate with investigations. This after a court-ordered registration of an FIR against him and other actors including Madhuri Dixit Nene for promoting the brand.
Abhi tak I have not received any notice. As soon as I will get it, I will put it up to my lawyers and we will fully cooperate with whatever the law says. I want to also add that, I stopped endorsing Maggi 2 years ago.
Nestle India said on Wednesday that it has not received any order from the centre or any state FDA authority for recall of its Maggi noodles. As the controversy over safety issues deepens, Nestle India shares tumbled 10%. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, our correspondent Rajkamal Rao joins us for more as far as this story is concerned. Raj, good morning. Thank you for joining us on the program. But as far as the Maggi noodles controversy is concerned, give us the latest and what action can we expect the respective state and the central governments to take as far as the noodle brand is concerned?
Frank, essentially food is a state subject, so state regulatory commissions will have to take a first call, and there are laid down guidelines for recall of any of the food product or food supplement that is in circulation and used by consumers. On May 28th this year, the Government of India has released one draft regulation for all state governments to follow through. It is depending on the state government. They can take their own call. They have the sovereign right to take any call on the food supplements and food packets in distribution and presently under circulation. As per the draft guidelines, there should be a recall mechanism. As per the Nestle press release, what they say, the government has not asked Nestle authorities to recall any of the Maggi noodles that are in circulation. What's happening on the ground is all the distributors who have been receiving complaints from consumers directly have been voluntarily withdrawing these products from their stores and individual distribution centers. From the manufacturer's point of view, every state government will have to give it in writing to the Nestle management to recall their products, showing a test result, test done by the government laboratory, and Nestle will have to be satisfied by the state governments so that they can withdraw their product. The recall options are not part of the present existing act. That's why Ramvilas Paswan has proposed a new legislation 2 days back to curtail issues and to curtail food supplement problems that are already existing in the market, including other products that are there in the food supplement market. Maggi is an only exception which is widely in circulation. That is why the issue has gone up to this extent. As for the policy, government will have to take a call on the recall options that are available under the existing state laws, Frank.
And when can we expect any kind of a decision on that? Because we understand that there are several states who have sent several samples of Maggi to the test labs. How long is this entire procedure going to take really?
Generally, these testings place at the state level laboratories which are there in every state's headquarter. Few states like Delhi have already completed their testing because Delhi has a national laboratory where the testing is very simple. But testing food supplements has always been a challenge. Ministry of Food Processing and Industry and the Ministry of Civil Supplies and Food have already started conducting surveys and raids. First, they have to collect samples from different distribution centers in every state, and they have to come for an average calculation of the product and the contents of lead or any other materials which are harmful for the consumer or for all those who are below 18 and which may affect their health system. That has to be proved in a laboratory. Then they'll have to produce one memorandum to the health ministry. Then the company can withdraw the product. So it will take at least 3 to 4 days. The central government's deadline is up to Friday, which is tomorrow. By the end of tomorrow, the government can issue an official notification asking the Nestle to recall all their products that are in circulation. So that is the minimum time. But since it is a state subject, every state is sovereign to take their own call. Goa has given their own decision, and Karnataka and other states are on the line. So it is completely depending on the state. Based on the state's report, only then the central level health ministry and food supplies ministry will take a call. Already the issue is with the Consumer Redressal Forum, which is an authentic forum formed by an act of parliament. They will have their sovereign powers. They will execute it even if the government shows no interest, because it is a matter of consumer interest. Any individual consumer can approach Consumer Forum at the national level and can sue Nestle.
All right, Rajkamal Rao, will have to leave to that. Thank you so much for joining us there with all those details and putting things into perspective for us. Going on now, the Tamil Nadu Food Safety Department has collected samples of Nestle milk powder for testing in Coimbatore after live larvae were found in a Nestle milk powder packet by a city-based taxi driver. A report from the Food Analysis Laboratory Coimbatore had said that the 380-gram sample of milk powder contained 28 live larvae and 22 rice bugs. The driver registered a voice complaint with Nestle customer support after he found insects inside the milk powder. Based on the complaint by the local residents, samples were collected from 3 places in the city and sent for testing at the Food Analysis Lab. The final report would be ready in 14 days. Let's shift focus now. A section of employees of 5 associate banks of SBI will go on strike today to protest against the proposal for merger of associate banks with the parent. Bank employees under the banner of State Sector Bank Employees Association will go on a nationwide strike. Those joining the strike include unions in the associate banks of State Bank of Bikaner and Jaipur, State Bank of Travancore, State Bank of Mysore, State Bank of Hyderabad and State Bank of Patiala. Protesting bank employees are demanding delinking of associate banks from State Bank of India, saying that these associate banks should not be merged with SBI. State Bank of Bikaner and Jaipur, State Bank of Travancore, State Bank of Mysore, State Bank of Hyderabad and State Bank of Patiala are the 5 associates of the country's largest lender, SBI. Their other demands are extension of compassionate appointment scheme as per government guidelines, recruitment of sub-staff and part-time employees, increase in quantum of staff housing loan, and several others. Well, here's a look now at some of the other stories we are following at this hour. Indelible voter ink mark to get bigger and bolder amid complaints about improper application of indelible or voter ink by poll officials in the recent elections. The Election Commission has issued orders saying that the ink should be applied using a brush specifically provided for the purpose. The recent order makes it clear that the ink will be applied on the voter's finger with the help of a brush from the top of the nail to the bottom of the first joint of the left forefinger. Use of brush will ensure that besides being bigger, the ink mark will be bolder and more prominent. 5 fishermen who were fishing near Kachativu have been arrested by the Sri Lankan Navy and taken to Talaimanar. The fishermen were asked to follow the Lankan naval personnel when they were fishing. The arrest comes after 15 local fishermen were arrested by the Lankan Navy for allegedly poaching in that country's waters near Kachativu. A trial court in Ahmedabad will hear the final arguments in the 2002 Gulbarg Society riot case from June 8. 69 people, including former Congress MP Ehsan Jafri, were killed when a mob went on a rampage at Gulbarg Housing Society on February 28, 2002, a day after the Godhra train burning incident. The Delhi government is contemplating to bring down the legal drinking age of beer from the existing 25 to 21 years, with the Excise Department preparing a proposal in this regard. However, the department's proposal is yet to be given a go-ahead by the government. According to the proposal, which is likely to be put before the cabinet soon, the new age limit will only be applicable for consumption of wine and beer, whereas the legal drinking age for hard liquor remains 25 years. Going on now, there's been some respite from the heat wave in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana as several places in the two states received rains, causing the mercury to fall significantly. The highest maximum temperature yesterday was 40 degrees Celsius recorded at Nellore and Jangamaheshwarapuram. As many as 1,735 people died due to the heat wave, and these figures pertain to the period from May 18th. The death toll in Telangana stands at 585 from April 15 till May 30th. Well, it's time for a short break now, but still to come. 10 children among 33 killed in alleged bombing by the Syrian government forces in Aleppo. That and much more on the other side. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Hottest topics.
If you can facilitate the opening up of the expansion of the international border trade, you can add to the economy.
370 धारा जो है वो जम्मू कश्मीर को मुल्क के साथ जोड़े रखती है.
Candid confessions.
The Congress has not been able to communicate.
We have to revive our links with the masses.
World-class healthcare is available to only a handful of people in this country.
Courting controversies.
A lot of leaders today think that they rule by divine right.
Now, media has become manageable.
Watch RSTV engage personalities to the point. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Thursday, 1:30 and 5:30 p.m.
As science beckons India into the future, Rajya Sabha television partakes the responsibility, bringing technology to the Indian people.
Let's take a look at various important science events in the country,
monitoring scientific advances as they unravel.
Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has proposed a complete ban on fossil fuels.
Welcome to Eureka.
Interviewing the country's greatest minds. Project the power of science to benefit and transform India. Rajya Sabha Television, democracy at work.
Welcome back, you're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, President Pranab Mukherjee will conclude his 5-day two-nation tour today. During his visit to Belarus, the President conveyed India's decision to extend a US $100 million line of credit for joint ventures with the East European country, which has shown interest in the flagship Make in India initiative. The two countries also decided to work together on defense and security issues and agreed on a 17-point roadmap aimed at strengthening mutual trust and confidence.
Our collaboration in energy and pharmaceuticals, as well as our close cooperation in defense, have linked our country in a long-standing, fruitful partnership for mutual benefit.
More international news now. At least 33 people, including 10 children, have been killed in government barrel bomb attacks in northern Syria. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said that the deaths came in 3 incidents on Wednesday in Aleppo province in the north of the country and Idlib province in the northwest. Here's more.
Still photographs shows the aftermath of what activists say were barrel bombs dropped over the outskirts of Damascus and the old city of Aleppo on Wednesday by forces loyal to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Photographs in the southern outskirts of Aleppo show a man holding a small baby who survived the barrel bomb strike, an injured man gesturing amid the rubble, residents walking amidst the rubble at the site, and civil defense forces trying to put out a fire caused by the strike. On the outskirts of Damascus, photographs show a man standing by a large crater caused by the strike as well as another man climbing through the rubble at the foot of a destroyed building. The US Embassy in Syria's official Twitter account accused the Syrian military of carrying out airstrikes in Aleppo to help Islamic State's advance in the area on Monday. Islamic State fighters pushed back rival insurgents north of Aleppo on Sunday near the Turkish border, threatening their supply route to the city. Syrian officials have previously dismissed as nonsense allegations by Washington and Syrian opposition activists that the Syrian military has helped Islamic State's fight against rival Syrian insurgent forces. A military source said the Syrian army is fighting Islamic State in all areas where it is present in Syria. The Syrian military has carried out recent air bombardments in Aleppo province, including inside Aleppo city and on the Islamic State-held town of Al-Bab to the northeast, according to the observatory. In rebel-held Aleppo, a local council that helps run civilian affairs called on fighters to be ready for a battle with Islamic State, the observatory said on Tuesday, citing a statement. It called on all Mujahideen to respond to Islamic State fighters, which it said were receiving air cover from the regime. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, in China, more bodies were retrieved by divers in the boat capsizing incident, even as the search and rescue operation entered its 3rd day. The administration says that it will not give up and will continue the work till there is no hope left. Some of the survivors are believed to be stuck in air pockets in the hull of the vessel, but low visibility in murky waters and bad weather conditions make it difficult for the divers to reach them. Here's a detailed report.
After more than 48 hours since the Chinese boat tragedy in Yangtze River, the hope of finding any more survivors is slowly fading away. Divers are battling severe weather conditions and are struggling through submerged debris in murky waters to find any more alive, a mammoth task given the conditions. Only 14 of the 456 people on board the vessel have been rescued so far, but officials are determined to continue their search till there is any hope. The death toll in one of the worst shipping disasters in China has gone up further by 26. Few of the survivors were found trapped in air pockets inside the submerged hull of the ship. The authorities had decided to cut open the ship to provide a direct route for divers to rescue those trapped. However, the plan was disrupted by heavy rainfall. The cutting operation will continue only after the weather turns better.
截止到今天下午17点钟，沉船内没有发现新的幸存者。当天我们从船舱里搜寻出21具遇难者遗体。
Accusing the government of being apathetic, dozens of grieving families clash with the police after being denied access to the site. Chinese government, wary of a public outrage, has attempted to control the narrative, preventing families to speak to journalists.
知道都是自己的父母，亲人在里面。现在政府对我们现在是不闻不问知道没有一个说法。 我们是没有办法，我们现在就是想离我们的亲人近一点。
现在就是准备走到那边去事发地看一下那边的情况。
In fresh leads into the cause of the accident, Maritime Agency records show the ship had been investigated for safety violations 2 years ago. The Eastern Star was held alongside 5 other vessels in 2013 over safety concerns. Questions are now being asked about how bad weather could sink such a large vessel in seconds, while apparently not affecting any other vessels on the river. But no further details are available on the investigation. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Here's a look now at the other international news and updates in our segment World Wrap. Fierce clashes erupted over the control of the Yemeni port city of Aden. Heavy fighting and intense airstrikes hit the Mansoura district, killing at least 20 Houthi rebels. The government militiamen were provided air support by the Saudi-led coalition to fight the Houthi rebels. Supporters of exiled President Mansour Hadi have claimed fending off several Houthi advancements. After facing a wave of protests calling for their resignation, Honduran President Juan Hernandez has confirmed links to a graft scandal. Hernandez said that his 2013 presidential campaign was funded by companies being questioned in the fraud cases, but without him knowing so. He declared that he had nothing to do with the $200 million Social Security fraud. Former Rhode Island Governor Lincoln Chafee has officially announced his bid for the 2016 Democratic presidential nomination. Chafee is the third candidate to challenge party frontrunner Hillary Clinton. He has cited education, infrastructure, healthcare, the environment and a strong middle class as his priorities. Former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley and US Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont had announced their interests earlier. An inmate was stabbed at a jail in Los Angeles on Wednesday after a riot broke out. 3 others also suffered superficial wounds. The officials were quick to place the facility in a lockdown. Firefighters and ambulances were sent to the jail to provide medical assistance. There has been no further information on the condition of the inmate who was stabbed. Palestinians protested against Israeli festival. Palestinian demonstrators against an Israeli light festival in Jerusalem turned ugly, forcing the police to resort to use of stun grenades. Police dispersed hundreds of protesters after scuffles broke out. 4 men were detained by the police. The Light Festival is an annual event organized by Israel, with thousands taking part in cultural and artistic events. Palestinian youths had organized an event to counter it. And let's now bring you up to date with all the overnight sports action in our sports beat. In high voltage drama at the French Open's men's single quarterfinal event last night, world number 1 Novak Djokovic knocked out world number 7 Rafael Nadal 7-5, 6-3, 6-1. The Serbian became only the second man to beat Nadal at the French Open with a straight sets victory in the quarterfinals. In another match, British number 1 and world number 3 Andy Murray defeated David Ferrer 7-6, 6-2, 5-7, 6-1. Murray will now meet Djokovic in the semis. In the women's singles quarterfinals, world number 1 Serena Williams showed no respite on the court. She knocked out her Italian counterpart Sara Errani in straight sets 6-1, 6-3. In another quarterfinal, Swiss Timea Bakinski crushed unseeded Alison Van Uytvanck 6-4, 7-5. Bakinski is the first Swiss woman to reach the last 4 in a Grand Slam since 2004. Bakinski will now meet Serena in the semis. And an ESPN report claimed that Pakistan Cricket Board has given a monetary guarantee of $12,500 to each player of the Zimbabwean cricket team for continuing with their Pakistan tour. According to the report, the PCB also gave an amount of $500,000 to the Zimbabwean Cricket Board before the tour. After the attack on the Sri Lankan team, the Zimbabweans are the first ones to play in Pakistan. In the Indonesian Open Super Series badminton tournament, world number 1 Saina Nehwal defeated Thai Nichaon Jindapon in straight games. Second seed Saina got the better of the Thai opponent 21-16, 21-18 in 35 minutes. But PV Sindhu crashed out of the tournament after a close first round defeat by Chinese Taipei's Yaqing Su 21-16, 15-21, 14-21. In the men's singles, both Indians in the fray, Parupalli Kashyap and Kadambi Srikanth, advanced to the second round of the tournament. Former Brazil international Zico has expressed a desire to run for president of FIFA following Sepp Blatter's shock resignation. Zico said that he would be open to heading FIFA. Blatter rocked the world of soccer by unexpectedly saying he would step down as FIFA president in the wake of a corruption investigation that reportedly may include the embattled chief himself. That's it on this edition of the Breakfast News. Have a nice day.